If you go to the website of any Kilimanjaro operator, you will get the sense that climbing Africa's tallest peak will be an enjoyable and exciting trip that will provide you with big memories of one of the most epic accomplishments you will ever accomplish in your lifetime. That is a concept that we will not disagree with. However, there are some unfavorable aspects of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro that tour operators do not like to discuss. But these aspects must be acknowledged. In this video, we will talk about the unfortunate realities of climbing Kilimanjaro, which are frequently kept hidden from public view. Number 1. You won't always have a positive mood. The height of Kilimanjaro offers both advantages and disadvantages. Even though being high up offers breathtaking vistas from above the clouds, there is a huge risk that comes along with it. Altitude sickness. A process known as acclimatization is required for your body to adjust to the decreased oxygen levels that occur as you ascend. This occurs because the air becomes thinner. When you climb higher, the process of acclimatization becomes more difficult, which can cause your body to suffer a great deal of damage. On Kilimanjaro, altitude sickness is the most dangerous of all the challenges. It makes no distinctions based on factors such as your age, gender, level of physical fitness, or how well prepared you believe you are. The human body is not designed to function properly in surroundings that are high in altitude. People who suffer from altitude sickness frequently have symptoms such as headaches, nausea, exhaustion, and difficulty sleeping. Others may have difficulty adjusting, and the symptoms can range from moderate to severe. Some climbers may have an easier time adjusting than others. The unfortunate reality is that you will most certainly experience feelings of sickness at some time during your journey. According to the statistics, more than 75% of climbers will have at least some type of mild altitude sickness, IMS over 10,000 feet. Even on the second day of your walk, you will have surpassed this threshold, according to the majority of schedules. This is a relatively normal occurrence, so if you find that you are experiencing nausea or vomiting as a result of the altitude, you should know that there is no need to start freaking out just yet. As a general rule, the symptoms will get less severe as time goes on. This is the reason why we usually recommend a gradual increase in dosage. Number 2. It's possible that you won't reach the top. One of the most common estimates of the overall success percentage on Mount Kilimanjaro is 50%. In other words, 50% of those who make an effort succeed, even though we believe that the genuine success rate is significantly greater today as a result of the advancements that have been made in guiding methods throughout the last couple of decades. The fact of the matter is that there are still going to be some individuals who will not be able to reach the peak. Having to face the potential that you will have to abandon your climb can be quite distressing, but it is a reality that you will have to face. If you suffer from severe altitude sickness, illness, or injuries, you must ascend the mountain to recuperate. In the rarest of cases, if at all, does one improve by continuing to climb higher. Number 2. You might not reach the summit, which is a harsh reality. Additionally, this will most likely be quite disheartening for climbers who have spent months getting ready for their expedition. However, you must never lose sight of the fact that your safety is of utmost importance, even more so than participating in any summit or experience for that matter. Climbing is a sport that includes not reaching the summit for a variety of different causes. I would advise you not to place an excessive amount of importance on it. Understanding when it is time to give up is a key skill that can save your life. You will always have the opportunity to make another try at climbing the mountain, provided that you decide to do so. The weather has the potential to make you miserable. When you are outside, the weather is a significant consideration to take into account. It is a very different experience to go hiking on a day that is warm and sunny as opposed to a day that is cold and rainy. Both possibilities are possible on Kilimanjaro, and they can even occur on the same day. The climate in the mountains is notoriously difficult to anticipate, and it has the potential to transform your hike into a drenching and icy nightmare. There is a possibility that you will experience precipitation, snow, hail, wind, and temperatures below freezing, even if you visit during the most favorable times. It is not a pleasant experience for the majority of people to be trapped in a deluge or a snowstorm at a high altitude. The loss of enjoyment and morale can occur very fast. which can make an experience that is already difficult even more difficult to endure. Remember that nature may lend you a different hand than you had anticipated, even while the idea of climbing Kilimanjaro can inspire you to do so because of the breathtaking sights and pure sky that you would see. If you spend a significant amount of time in the great outdoors, particularly in mountainous regions, you will certainly come with unfavorable weather. You have no choice except to go at a time when the weather has traditionally been the most favorable. There is nothing else you can do. About Mount Kilimanjaro, this would be during the 2 dry seasons that occur every year. Prepare your schedules. Let us hope for the best. However, you should always be ready for the worst. In the 4th number, it is going to be quite pricey. Mount Kilimanjaro is not an activity that can be done on a budget. This cannot be avoided in any manner. Climbing Kilimanjaro entails a significant financial expenditure, which is an unfortunate reality that cannot be avoided. We hope that we will be able to offer climbs for $1,000 or even $2,000 each. However, it is a well-known truth that the expenses associated with sponsoring a Kilimanjaro expedition are substantial. These expenses are comprised of several primary components, including personnel, food, equipment, lodging, park fees, and taxes. When all of these costs are taken into consideration, there is just no way to offer even the most basic of services at affordable prices. Additionally, clients will be responsible for paying for their own flights, gear, visa, travel insurance, and personal expenses in addition to the cost of the trip itself. Following everything that has been said and done, the majority of our customers wind up spending somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000 per individual. Unfortunately, the whole cost is going to be beyond the financial means of a great number of individuals. Indeed, some outfitters cater to those on a budget. Also, if you opt with a less expensive company, you might be able to save a few $100 or so. If you book with them, however, you are engaging in gambling. Take a chance on the fact that you will have a knowledgeable guide, functional equipment, and adequate food, and that you will not experience any difficulties while climbing the mountain. It is not a good idea to be thrifty with your money. Picking a guide service that has a good reputation is of utmost significance when it comes to ensuring your safety and achieving your goals. If climbing Kilimanjaro with a well-regarded operator such as Ultimate Kilimanjaro is going to put a significant dent in your finances, you should wait until you have sufficient funds to go through with it. It could appear to be a sensible choice to go with less dependable and less priced operators, but doing so can put your trip and other potential outcomes in jeopardy. When climbing Kilimanjaro, you should not take any shortcuts. You'll have to deal with crowds for number 5. A connection with nature is one of the benefits of climbing Kilimanjaro, but the mountain is also a popular tourist attraction. This is not an off-the-beaten-path excursion by any stretch of the imagination, because more than 30,000 people visit these trails each year to go hiking. Along your trip, you will inevitably come into contact with other people, whether it's people in your group or other groups sharing campgrounds and converging at the summit. The harsh reality is that Kilimanjaro can get crowded, which can affect your overall experience. This can be a problem because it can make it more difficult to explore the mountain. For example, there is frequently a kind of traffic bottleneck at the Barranco Wall, and there is also a line at the peak for those who want to take pictures. Therefore, you may need to demonstrate patience and compassion while you wait for your turn. In some campgrounds, there are practically 1,000 people there, which includes customers and the support personnel who accompany them. You'll have to contend with neighbors who can be noisy and limited privacy in your place of residence. Keep in mind that you might look at this as an opportunity to meet other people who are also interested in adventure from all over the world, to share tales, and to support one another on your journey to the summit. Are there too many people climbing Mount Kilimanjaro? Plus 5 easy ways to avoid being surrounded by people. Number 6. You are never really safe. An excursion that is largely risk-free is climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. It is necessary, however, to understand that, just like any other activity that takes place outside, it contains inherent risks. The overall mortality rate on Kilimanjaro was found to be 0.136%, which is equivalent to 1 death for every 7,353 climbs. According to one research, you can accomplish everything correctly, including performing hard training, having the greatest gear, selecting a lengthy route, and adhering to acclimatization instructions to the letter, we can do everything correctly, including slowing down the pace, providing sufficient food and water, putting you in a comfortable tent, and keeping a daily check on your health. However, this does not in any way ensure your safety. The most difficult truth about climbing Kilimanjaro is that it is a mountain. Even though you and our guides are doing all in your power, there will always be some degree of risk involved. Having a high altitude is the primary offender. There are some medical conditions that people may not even be aware they have, but altitude can bring them to light or make them worse. As one ascends to higher altitudes, the strain that is placed on the cardiovascular and respiratory systems becomes substantially more intense. Not only are there difficulties associated with being at a high altitude, but there are also dangers associated with sickness, injuries, cold, lightning, and rockfall. There have been fatalities on the mountain, including guests, porters, and guides, from low-cost operators to high-end operators. Everyone from novice hikers to seasoned mountaineers is welcome. No one is immune. Discrimination is not tolerated on the mountain. Even though we do not require our customers to undergo a medical examination, it is always a good idea to consult with your physician before embarking on a journey that could be considered physically taxing. In certain circumstances, it may be necessary to take additional care, make adjustments to prescriptions, or completely avoid places that are located at high altitudes. Inquire with your physician about whether or not high-altitude hiking is appropriate for your age, level of fitness, and current state of health. Check to see if you have any pre-existing medical disorders that could potentially lead you to experience difficulties when climbing. Ensure that you have a thorough understanding of how the drugs you take can impact your ability to acclimate to the high altitude. Make sure to find out if Diamox can be used with the medications that you are already taking by prescription. Number 7. You will most likely find yourself wishing that you were at home. The ascent of Kilimanjaro is a physically demanding and mentally exhausting endeavor for practically everyone. At first, the stages may appear to be tolerable. Nevertheless, as you continue to climb higher and higher, the discomfort will become more intense. This trip will test your limitations in more ways than one, and it is virtually inevitable that there will come a time when you will begin to find yourself questioning whether or not you made the right choice in the first place to travel to Tanzania. Your desire to go back to your comfortable sofa, where you can unwind, watch television, and munch on some chips, will make you wish you could snap your fingers and teleport there. Our solid conviction is that the most satisfying aspect of the journey is the process of overcoming self-doubt and remaining resilient in the face of hardship. When one can push through these difficult periods, a genuine feeling of success and satisfaction emerges. Every step of the road, as well as every ounce of agony, is made worthwhile at this point. So, if you reach the point where you wish you were back at home rather than on the mountain, we want to congratulate you on reaching that stage, mainly because your moment at the peak is going to be that much more enjoyable. If you wait till you're finished, you won't even realize it. Remarks to conclude: it is necessary for everybody who has the goal of climbing Kilimanjaro to have a solid understanding of these 7 harsh realities of ascending this mountain. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to Summit Kilimanjaro for more videos. See you next time.